smartphone, smart. That's right, I am all smart. That's right, our last episode of Wfet before the review. That's right, before the review. And I have another incredible math fact for you. That's right, 200 million plus 1, that's right, equals 300 million. Yeah, you can write it down. What? 200 million plus 1 is 300 million. No, I'm sure it is. I'm sure that's right. I'm Smarty the smartphone. I'm sure. What? I'm wrong? I am wrong? What I'm not wrong about is in this episode of Wfet, the Gotta Know It, Ken and Black, and the Christmas list. That's right. You can add things to your Christmas list with Name That Gadget. But I'm sure I'm right about this. 200 million plus 1 equals 300 million. I'm sure that does not compute.
Does not compute. Smarty the smartphone does not compute. Does not compute. Get ready for this episode of WFT.
Yo. Do up the radio. Huh? Yo.
Now it's time for everyone's favorite game show, Name That Gadget. Name it. First mentioned in a speech in 1983. $300,000 were sold on the first day it was available. Tablet, schmablet. It rhymes with my dad knew. iPad 2. Now how much does one cost?
It's me, your old pal. Not that I'm old, just that we've been pals for a long time. Plus de Goss, and today you're going to be cooking with Goss. We are making one of my favorite, most delectable treats, ratatouille. No, I'm not talking about the movie. That is actually a French dish called ratatouille, but it is made with some of our littler friends, I guess you could say. So first, we start out with, of course, rats. I mean, how do you make ratatouille without rats? It just, of course. We have a king rat, little girl rat, ballerina rat. Very important because they add a little sweetness to the dish. And just, you know, little girl rat. So we're going to put those all in a dish. And then the ingredients. Really important, so don't forget. Okay, you need cones. Now, these are not just typical cones. These are the best kind of cones because if you tip them upside down, you can put ice cream in them. So I call them ice cream cones because they're huge. How much ice cream could you really put in here? A lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 should do it. 4 cones should really do the ratatouille. Next, we're going to throw in a rat trap. Now, you need rats for your ratatouille, so you've got to catch them. So how else to do it? Humanely. A rat trap. So we're going to throw that in the dish. Good. One more ingredient. The sauce for ratatouille is red. So we need something for red. Red paint. Duh, I mean, who doesn't know that? So we're going to add a little red paint. If you like it more saucy, you can add some more sauce. So I'm going to put a little extra sauce in there. Mix it all up. Ratatouille. The delicacy and dish of the day. I mean, it can't get any better than that. French cuisine. Bonito. All right, that's it for the day. You're cooking with Goss. See you next time.
My name is Josiah Lamb and I am 12 years old. I got into this tragic jet ski accident. I heard God's voice and he said, "Put your hand up, Josiah."
On that 4th of July weekend, when we were at my sister's, they were just having a great time. They always did water sports. So he and my son-in-law were on the jet ski together.
And I was driving it, and so I was in the front. I just started gunning it. Like I was gonna whip it and spin. There was this blue boat line where you tie your boat up to. And we were going back, and we just went straight into it.
I was upstairs in the house, and all of a sudden I just hear a lot of commotion.
A few seconds before we hit it, like the sky just lit up and the time just froze. It was amazing. And the sky just lit up with angels. The angels were not no Cupid little angels that were like fluttering around with like the bow and arrows. They had flaming swords, and they were just like humongous. Like they were like some brute strength guys. They were big. I heard God's voice and he said, "Put your hand up, Josiah."
I see my son-in-law lifting my son out of the water, and he was just very limp. You know, you could tell it was serious. And my husband was over there at that point, and he just had Josiah, you know, with his head on his lap. You know, his neck was torn open, and you could tell it was really deep, and there were bubbles coming out, and you could hear the air, and there was blood. It was just really, really scary right at that moment. And my husband was just reassuring him the whole time.
And he said, "Josiah, don't worry about it. Everything will be okay."
And that was just because it was very chaotic, and for him to speak that peace at that moment was just really needed. They had to put him in, a coma for 24 hours until the swelling came down, because if they didn't, his airway was shut.
I broke 2 fingers. This is all scar tissue now.
They told us Josiah had lifted his hand at the last second, and they said that, when the rope hit his fingers and his arm, that if he wouldn't have lifted his hand, it would have gone right into his neck and it would have decapitated him.
Yeah, even though this was cut open and I broke a couple fingers, I'm happy that I'm still alive.
Well, for the first 4 days in the hospital, he couldn't speak.
When they came in one day, my mom was with me, and I was like, "Mom." She was like, "You can talk now." I was like, "Yeah. Hey, I saw angels."
And I knew right then when he said that, and he started telling me he heard God's voice. When he told me that, I was just like, wow.
God was there. Like, that's the first time I ever heard God's voice, and that saved my life.
Hey kids, it's your old buddy Kay here from ICC, International Cheese Control. We're about to set out to try and capture a big wheel of Parm. This is not your average cheese. This wheel of Parm's been aged about 50 years, and he's from Italy. You know those Italian Parmesans, they're pretty tough. So I got my buddy J, and I got my buddy Q, and I got my buddy G. We're out to get this guy. Let's get him. Okay, guys. J, you go left. G, you go right. Let's get him. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, it's just the boss. We'll get him. We'll get him our way. G, no, look out. Look out. He's after you. J, duck. Hold on. Oh, it's just the boss. Dang boss is always calling when we're trying to do our job. Okay, G, you try and get in there and get him. Get out that cheese knife. You got him? Hold on. Boss, we're in the middle of trying to get this gigantic Italian Parm. He's 50 years old. What? Sweet talk him? You mean be gentle? Not mean? But it's not our way, boss. We're always out to slice and dice the cheese. I know. You've been around a long time. Okay, we'll try it. Guys, the boss says we be gentle. We have to sing a lullaby. Okay, are you ready? Go for it, guys. Kids, this reminds me of this week's Gotta Know It. This week's Gotta Know It is we win when we let Jesus win. So just like here at ICC, we're going to win when we let the boss tell us how to do it. We listen to the boss, we're going to win. So the Gotta Know It is we win when we let Jesus win. Okay, all the boys, nice and loud. We win when we let Jesus win. Girls, louder. We win when we let Jesus win. Now everybody who's left-handed. We win when we let Jesus win. You back there, I know you're left-handed. You didn't say it. Okay, everybody all together. We win when we let Jesus win. This is the last one. So let's say it one more time, really loud, everybody all together. We win when we let Jesus win. Now, it's been a long 4 weeks, kids. You've seen a lot of things in the ICC world that you never should have seen. So everybody look up here. You're going to see a little flash, and then you'll forget everything you know about the ICC. Ready? Here we go. 1, look this way. 2, 3. Good night, kids. Good night. Goodbye, kids.
Hello, friends. It's me, Place de Goss, and we're going to learn the verse for the day. So get ready. It comes out of 2 Kings 6:1-7. Got that? 2 Kings 6:1-7. And it goes like this. Then Elisha prayed. And we know we don't always have to pray like that, but that's just how we're going to do it today. So Then Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I ask you. Okay, so let's start beginning. Then Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I ask you, open. And we're going to do our best opening. So we're going to open our eyes big and open our mouths big. Open my servant. Do you guys know what a servant is? Back in the old days, a servant was somebody that did all the things for other people. But in today's time, servants are people that help others. So when you go to give food to the community house, or when you help your friend, you're being a servant. So that's what they're meaning in this, is a servant. So we're going to start from the very beginning. We're going to go 2 Kings 6:1-7. Then Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I ask you, open my servant's eyes. And you're going to show your eyes to everybody. You can do a crazy eye if you want, but servant's eyes, so that he can see. And you're just going to stare at something like you see it for the very first time. All right, so let's start from the beginning because we got a lot here. So we're going to start with 2 Kings 6:1-7. Then Elisha prayed, and he said, Lord, I ask you, open my servant's eyes so that he can see. Now, let's change this up just a little bit so that it applies to you, because we need to talk to the Lord as well. So we're going to change it from my servant's eyes to my eyes. And not that he can see, so that I can see. So let's start it over, and we're going to put those words in place there. So we're going to start with 2 Kings 6:1-7. Then Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I ask you to open my eyes so that I can see. Okay, team leaders, you're going to have to help your team. So let's do it one more time so everybody has it, okay? Let's start at the top. 2 Kings 6:1-7. Then Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I ask you to open my eyes so that I can see. All right, guys. I hope you got the verse for the day. See you later. Bye.
Hey kids, great episode of Wfet today. That's right. We heard about the story about Elijah. And he was there, and he probably felt all alone. And then when he told his servant, hey, look around, and then suddenly, who was there? Yeah, all of God's army. Yep. Now you can try to fight the battles by yourself. But you know what you'll do? Is you'll just get tired, and you'll get lonely, and all those things. Or you can win by doing what? That's right. You win when we let Jesus win. Yep. He wants to win for us. He wants to be our champion, our superhero, all of those things. But we win when we let Jesus win. How do we let Jesus win? Yep. By trusting him and by knowing what he's saying to us. And how do we know that? That's right. Through our gap time. Have you set your gap time yet? You should have 4 weeks ago. That's right. You just set aside a time and you spend some time with the Lord, reading his Bible, listening to him. Hey, you might try maybe, listening to him and praying, asking him for stuff. That's how you know all the things that God wants you to do, and that's how you let Jesus win. The challenge this week is for you to let Jesus win, even over how you feel. That's right, sometimes we feel scared. Oh, I feel so scared. But Jesus, I know that you're better than that, so I'm going to not be That's how we let Jesus win. You got it? Tough challenge this week. You got it? Okay, we'll check in on you next week for the review episode of Wfet. Now, many of you shed a tear when you saw Smarty the smartphone blew up in the intro, and Smarty just wanted to tell you, he's okay. That's right, he's okay. So many of you can just dry your tears. That's right, dry your tears, because Smarty the smartphone is okay. Yep. Now, in this episode, we learned that we win when we let Jesus win. That's right. And instead of trying to be so smart with all your math, we should be smart with the things that Jesus has for us. That's right. And that's why we're getting ready for this episode of I'm So Smart. That's right. We can show how smart you are. You might be smarter than Smarty the smartphone. Are you smarter than Smarty the smartphone? Because I'm pretty smart. Smart. Smarty the smartphone. But we're going to get ready for this episode of I'm So Smart. Are you smart?
I'm so smart.